All right, let's talk about one of the coolest magic tricks in all of science. We're going to figure out how we take something as ordinary as sand and somehow turn it into the brain of a supercomputer. It all boils down to a very special kind of material that, and I'm not exaggerating, completely changed our world. Let's dive in.
I mean, it sounds like a riddle, doesn't it? How do you get a lump of rock to think, to do math, to connect the entire planet? Well, that's the big question we're going to tackle. And the secret, you'll see, is all about getting perfect control over electricity. You see, to build any kind of computer, what you really need are switches. Billions and billions of tiny switches that can flip on and off at insane speeds. And that gives us this fundamental challenge. You could call it the Goldilocks problem. We need a material that isn't too hot, not too cold, but just right.
Okay, so on one hand, you've got materials like copper. These are conductors. Think of them like a wide-open highway for electricity. There are no stop signs, no red lights. The flow is constant. They are always on. Then you have the total opposite, insulators, like rubber. This is a solid brick wall. Electricity just can't get through. They're always off. Now, for building a switch, neither of these is very useful, right?
So what we really need is a third choice, something in the middle. We need a material that can be a conductor when we want it to be, and an insulator when we need it to be, a material that we can switch back and forth on command. Yeah, we're looking for something that is just right.
And that brings us to the hero of our story, silicon. It literally comes from sand, and it's one of the most common elements on the planet. But its real superpower isn't that it's everywhere, it's what's going on inside, at the atomic level, that makes it the absolute perfect material for the job. Let's take a look.
The official name for this just right material is, you guessed it, a semiconductor. Its ability to conduct electricity is right in that sweet spot, somewhere between that always-on conductor and that always-off insulator. And it's in this middle ground where all the real magic is going to happen.
And the secret, the key to why silicon is so special, it all comes down to this number, 4. A single silicon atom has 4 electrons in its outer shell. And that number, that specific number, is the key to absolutely everything that comes next.
So here's how it plays out. You've got your silicon atom with its 4 outer electrons. But like a lot of atoms, it really wants to have 8 to feel stable and complete. So what does it do? It finds 4 neighbors and shares 1 electron with each of them. It's like they all link hands. This creates this perfect, repeating, super stable crystal structure. But here's the catch. In its pure form, it's actually not a very good conductor at all. So a perfect, stable crystal is nice and all, but for our needs, it's kind of boring. To get the control we want, we have to do something that sounds a little crazy. We have to intentionally mess it up. We need to break that perfection. And this process, this is the secret sauce for the entire industry. It's called doping. And doping is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. We're going to intentionally sprinkle in tiny, tiny amounts of other elements, what we call impurities, right into that pristine silicon crystal. Think of it like we're hacking the material at an atomic level, all to change the way it handles electricity.
So we can do this in 2 main ways. For what we call N-type silicon, N for negative, we add something like phosphorus, which has 5 outer electrons. 4 of those electrons lock into the crystal, but that 5th one, it's a free agent. It's an extra electron just hanging around, ready to move and carry a current. Now for P-type, P for positive, we do the opposite. We add an element like aluminum, which only has 3 outer electrons. This creates a gap, a space where an electron should be, and we call that little gap a hole.
And this is the absolute best way to think about it. A hole isn't really a thing, it's just an opportunity for an electron to go somewhere. Imagine a full parking lot with 1 empty space. A car can move into that empty space, right? But when it does, it leaves its old space empty, so it looks like the empty space itself moved. That's a hole, and it acts just like a positive charge moving through the crystal.
Okay, so now we've got our 2 custom materials. We have N-type silicon, which is full of extra electrons, and we have P-type silicon, which is full of those holes or empty spots. On their own, they're kind of interesting. But the real breakthrough, I mean the absolute foundation of all modern electronics, is what happens when you stick them right next to each other. So what do you think happens? You've got a material that's practically drowning in electrons, and you put it right up against a material that's full of perfect little empty spots for those electrons to jump into. It's a recipe for something pretty dramatic.
Yep, it's exactly what you'd think. The moment they touch, those free electrons on the N side see all those beautiful empty holes on the P side and whoosh, they rush right across the border to fill them up. It's a totally natural, immediate reaction.